Good people, welcome back to Real Vision TV. Thanks for watching the channel. Took a little hiatus, but we are definitely back and back with some good content for you guys. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button anytime you feel it's necessary, and definitely turn those notifications on. Now, boy, the election season went by, everybody's all tight, right? Everybody's tight about who became president. And listen, everybody can have their own views. And, we all can live to respect people's views. But what we can't respect is perpetrators and characters, right? And as you can see, we have one of those characters on the screen here today. Not only do we have him on the screen, we have the actual character that we actually think he is, right? He's the surprise clown, right? Just when you think that he can't amaze us anymore, it's like surprise, and there you go, right? So we're going to get into a clip that we came upon on Instagram. It was Mysonne, the NY General, or Mysonne Linen, whatever you want to call him. Either way you slice it is Mysonne, right? The surprise clown, right? So let's go into this clip and let's hear him go on one of his Blacktivist rants. And we're going to chime back in, and I'm going to give you my thoughts about his rant and just how he's just leading people down the wrong path. It's almost like he's getting paid for it. We know he's getting paid for it, but we'll let you guys be the judge of it. Let's get this clip rolling.
So listen, now that we've had time to decompress, we see where we are in the world, we see who the president is. Now, like I always said, it's not about the presidency, it's the days after the presidency. It's what are we going to do now? We need something different anyway. So the president was just going to be who we had to fight against, whether it was Kamala or it was Trump. We was picking the best opponent. The best opponent for us would have been Kamala, because I believe that she was more level-headed. She dealt with decency, humanity, and all of those things that we could have pushed her to do what we want. But we understand what we're dealing with Trump, so that means that we have to get very much more focused and move forward, because that shit, our train don't stop. This train to justice and freedom ain't gonna stop no matter who the president is. If we gotta die for it, we gonna die for it. However, we gotta go out getting what we supposed to get as human beings, especially as black human beings in America. We gonna do it. That's how I'm living. And anybody that ain't living, this ain't for you. This is so you need to go somebody else. Go to the pages with all the pages that support the shit you support. Over here, we talking about how we gonna get justice, equity, and freedom on this page. So boom, what we would have, we learned. We learned that America is still white supremacist based. The theories of white supremacy is still the foundation of America. That's just the bottom line. And that means that white men rule. White men are only the people to rule. We've tricked our own people to believe that. We've tricked every other nationality because it's Stockholm Syndrome. You've seen white men in positions of power so long that you cannot change it. And I tell you that, right? And I tell you that because it's true. If you study, you've seen that. White men have had power here. We've had one black person in power and they told you he wasn't shit, even though he had one of the best president ratings in history and did 2 terms back to back with no issues. They tell you that he didn't do shit and he was worse. Our people would say that because they tricked us to believe that dumb shit. So what I want you to understand now we have to form our allegiance and our alliance with our brothers to unify with the people that's like-minded. During this election cycle, you were able to see who is like-minded. You were able to look at Instagram and look at social media, and you were able to hear people's true thoughts because they were protected by the MAGA bots, and they were protected, and you got to hear what they say. You got to hear how they actually feel. People you was around your whole life, you never thought that they felt this way, but this is what they feel. So now you know what it is. And what we realize is, I don't give a fuck what somebody's trying to tell you, there's a demographic of black men that hate black women. That is a fact. And I don't want nothing to do with those black men. There's a demographic of black men. It's not just because they voted for Trump. That's partial, but the reason why they voted for Trump, right? And the reason why they voted for Trump because they don't want to see black women in positions of power. They can't stomach it. There are weak black men who cannot stomach seeing a black woman in position of power over them, in a position that they can't have. That's why you have weak black men that beat women. That's how you have weak black men that do everything to disparage women, because they are weak. And those people exist. Unless y'all saying it's divided, it's already divided. The line is in the sand. These niggas have shown who they are. They have let you see who they are. And if you don't believe who they are, then that's your fault. I no longer want to align myself with those type of individuals. So what I want to do to move forward, I want to convene with the men who love black women. The men who would never utilize their platforms or voices to disrespect and denigrate a black woman because you might not agree with her views, or you might not want her to be president. I'm not saying everybody who voted for Donald Trump, every black person is anti-black woman. But there's the fact that I want you to understand this. This is very telling. The fact that in history, black men have never voted this much for the Republican Party. This level of the Republican Party since the party switch. Since that happened, and we voted this much more for against a black woman, it's telling to me. I don't care how you think about it, but it is for me. And once again, there is a certain demographic of black men that hate black women. Whatever issues they have with their mother, their wives, their girlfriend, whatever it is, they exist. I don't want nothing to do with them. I'm not trying to bring you back. The brothers who voted for Donald Trump because they seen financially was this, or they didn't feel seen, those brothers we need to have conversations with. Those brothers, I want to bring you in because I understand that you hurting. So this was your response to being hurt or feeling left out. And those brothers I can identify with. Even though I don't agree with you, I can identify with you. But the brothers who have openly shown that they hate black women, I don't want nothing to do with you. You have shown it yourself to be an enemy. Like the minister said, we're not gonna all be together. I don't want to peacefully coexist with niggas that I know hate me and hate the fruit, the tree that I was born from. I don't want nothing to do with y'all. So people say, oh, you unfollow your political views actually coincide with your moral compass. Right? So when your political views make you call a black woman whores and bitches and all these negative things and disrespect her and all of that shit all day, that means me and you are not on the same page. Because my moral compass would never allow me to do that to a black woman. I don't care the ones I don't like or anything. I might call them. I might say you anti-black, you working with them, but I would never call them out their names and try to degrade them because they have mothers and they have sisters and they have daughters and I have all those things. Right? So I would never utilize that. And any man that does that, I don't want around me. I don't want to align with you. I don't want to build with you. I don't care how much money you got. We have to move forward. So moving forward, I am about to call meetings for real black men who love black women, who love us for real. Not the ones who just sit there silently and wait till they could get their people who on the page with them to say fuck us all so they can go on the side. The ones that's infiltrated. I don't want nothing to do with that. I want to move with the people that's like us. That's how we're going to do what we need to do. So that's the next stage in this. And we build together with our tribe.
All right, we're going to stop right there. All right, we just listen, I've heard enough of this guy. I've heard enough. I'm tired of his pandering and his nonsense, the rhetoric he spews. To me, he spews a whole lot of hate, right? He spews a whole lot of race baiting. Anything with race, he's part of. But I want to chime in at the end there. I'm going to start from the very end, and I'm going to comment on a few of the things that he mentioned. So I'm going to start with this. He said that he's not messing with any men that denigrates black women or talk down to black women. Well, my son, I got a message for you for that. That's 99% of our hip hop rappers, male rappers. And from my recollection, all you've done your entire life is knuckle drag behind these rappers. You want to go to their parties. You want to be in their cars. You want to be in their videos. You want to be everywhere with them. And now you're going to sit and say that you don't mess with men that denigrate women, call them bitches and hoes and stuff like that. That's all the stuff you glorify. So you're a hypocrite with that, right? You're a hypocrite. Now, let's move on to this whole thing where America is still white supremacist based, right? I agree with you with that. I think most black people would, right? But when you start talking about white supremacist based, and then you start combining that and mixing that with the message that you're trying to give our young black males and even middle-aged black males, that's all wrong, right? Because I find it, in my opinion, hard to move forward if you keep trying to have people thinking backwards, right? How can you move forward if you direct people's attention to things in the past, right? So again, that's not productive. It's counterproductive. And I wish you just stop doing that altogether. I don't know who's paying you to do it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you can't do anything more with your life. So you rather just continuously bottle down people with this rhetoric so that they stay down. That to me is supremacist at a black level. And you're the leader of that, right? Moving along. What else did you say here? I was taking these notes down, right? What else did you say here? Let me see, because we're going to dig in, because you're not the right messenger for black men. You and your whole boycott black murder and all that, you're not the right messenger for that. And I'm going to let the people know why you're not very shortly. Now, just to piggyback on the whole supremacist thing, you're scaring black boys, right, into thinking that the white man is out to get them, right? The white man's out to get them, all right? Now, how are you feeling when you was out there doing those robberies? Did you feel like the white man was out to get you, or was you out there getting the black boys? Answer that question. And I'll repeat it. When you was out there robbing people in the streets in the Bronx, right? Sticking up people, torturing the community, terrorizing the community, or black boys, because you didn't do this to white boys. See, guys like you talk this tough stuff, but you don't do it to white boys. You only do it to black boys. And then you want to get on this internet and cap all day, right? You want to cap all day like you out there for the black boys, and you sticking up for the black boys. Man, you was the worst enemy to the black boys in the community. So you're not qualified to even talk on that, right? You aren't qualified to talk on that at all, right? At all. And not only that, listen, we got the actual receipts here on Real Vision TV, because we're not going to come at you that hard and not have the receipts with it, right? You ran around the Bronx. You harassed black boys. You stole from black boys. You stuck up black boys. You most likely, possibly, maybe even shot at black boys. And you out here robbing cab drivers too. And we know the cab drivers aren't white. They were black. So you out here robbing cab drivers. But you're supposed to be the face of equality and change and having a great moral compass. Where's your moral compass? Right? I told you, you're the surprise clown. That's why the surprise clown is up there for you, right? So let's just throw a receipt up here, because this guy must think that we're fools or we're just brain dead. So let's just bring up some facts here, right? Let's bring up some facts for Mr. Mysonne Linen, right? I know you guys see this here on the screen, right? Mr. Mysonne Linen, out here in New York, first degree, second degree robbery, right? It's only right that we pull up the receipts, because we're not about capping here. He's about capping, but we're not, right? So, and let's not get this twisted. Let's put this out there. We at Real Vision TV have no problems with reformed criminals. What we do have a problem with is reformed criminals that come out and act like they weren't criminals, right? They act like the record don't exist. They act like they can't be judged on that past. And this is where I was mentioning earlier that we know why he panders people and talk down to people, because him saying that black men have a problem with black women in power, and that's why they didn't vote for them, that's just as bad or equal or even worse than what Barack Obama told black men, right? You're belittling black men. And my main philosophy behind that is that you do this because you can't do nothing else with your life. You can't go get a corporate job So what you do out here, you want to tell other people, hey, they're out to get you, deterring people from being their best person. The last thing that a person that is blessed with a life, a whole life, and one life that they get to live is to spend that life trying to rehash or relive the past, right? You can't shape a future if you're still in the past. And you constantly have a knack for keeping people in the past because you can't do nothing in the future with this record you have. You can't get it expunged in New York. So you out here pandering, pretending to be some blacktivist, right? You're a blacktivist. A blacktivist is a character like you who's black. They pretend like they're like the next great speaker who pretend to speak for black people. And trust me, you are by far the worst, right? You run around with your little compadres like Tamika Mallory and all the other gangs of these big mouth speakers, right? And you act like you're actually doing a service for the community and you're doing a disservice. So we know about you in the past. We know about you with the Black Lives Matter. We know about the movement you guys was doing. And you think we're fools, right? You think that, you getting arrested by the cops out there protesting, right? It was more so a photo op for you while George Soros and the rest of those people and Crump and those lawyers was out there bailing you guys out. We all know I'm not stupid. We're not stupid here, right? You're not going to risk your freedom after being a felon in New York with first and second degree robbery and doing hard time. You're not going to risk your freedom. So we know you was capping out there and you was taking payments out there and you was getting arrested and having people bail you out and helping to get rid of the record. You're not real. You're not real at all. Absolutely not real. And it bothers me that people still buy into your nonsense. You out here making these rap songs. You're damn near almost 50 years old. That's the proof in the pudding. What else have you done? You had this one business you started in 2011, Universal Soldiers, or whatever it is. What is that doing for the people? All we see is you blabbing your gums here on social media, trying to be this blacktivist. You're just an actor. You're just an actor. What you should be doing is spending your time pushing STEM onto our black kids, right? Pushing that STEM research, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to our youth. Instead, you want to have them brain dead, focused on chasing some revolution of liberation. Let these people live and stop talking down to black men as if you didn't have anything to do with terrorizing black men. All you have done is talk down to black men, pretend to be something that you're not, and you just keep washing and repeating that same cycle. And quite frankly, we're sick of it. Now, you see this block right here? We're going to pull this up. Actually, let's scroll down on this a little bit. 7 years minimum, 14 years max. Parole, 2006. Yeah, a real character. Doing a hard bid in Queensboro. And what do you think? You think that we're supposed to respect that? You think we're supposed to respect that? We don't respect that at all, Mr. Mysonne. So you see this block right here? We need you to go stand outside this block, 1307, right? You're very familiar with this block. Go stand out on the block here, because that's all you can do. That's all you can do. After all this pandering and all this this blabbing your gums, yapping your gums, whatever with your gums, right? You're still on this block, right? So we need you to go stand out on the stoop or go on the rooftop and record another video. But what we won't tolerate anymore with you is talking your foolishness and nonsense and keeping our black children and black men stagnant in their thoughts. We know what America has done. We don't need you to tell that to us. Just because you caught the raw end of the deal with America because of your malicious, criminal ways on the streets don't mean that the next black man has to relive your problems. It's just pathetic what you're doing, right? Then as of late, we see that you are putting out there more rhetoric, right, about Donald Trump with drug dealers getting the death penalty. And this is a perfect example of how he puts clips on his social media pages, and he clips the part where Donald Trump says that and just leaves out the rest of the entire speech that Donald Trump gave. This is what he does to get people all riled up. It's called race baiting. And it only works for the weak-minded people. It doesn't work for people that are strong-minded and can think for themselves. Because that's who the black men that voted for Donald Trump were. They were black men that thought for themselves. They weren't black men that didn't like black women. That's an insult to them. These are guys that were raised by their sisters and their mothers. So when they looked at a woman in power, they knew who that was. That came out of their house. And you telling them that they have a complex for not wanting to have a black woman in power, that's an insult. That's a direct insult. Now let's get back to the drug dealers, because we're gonna set the record straight on what Donald Trump meant by that. Were you not aware that fentanyl has been killing people here in the United States? Were you not aware that drug dealers are the ones that place these drugs on the streets? See, now we don't want to hear you come back like, hey, how did the drugs get here? We don't want to hear that crap. What we want to stick to is that the drug dealers that is pushing that drug, that is killing people, they're murderers. And quite frankly, we don't have a problem with people getting a death penalty because they're murderers. That's all that is that Donald Trump said. You're trying to make it seem like that if a guy that got a few ounces of weed get arrested, that Donald Trump's going to give him the death penalty. So you need to clean that garbage up that you're spewing, because it's garbage. And it's not respectable, and it's not honorable. It's pathetic. See, you must be thinking that you're talking to a bunch of morons, right? A bunch of low IQ guys. We're not falling for it. We are not falling for it. So for those of you who listened to that clip he put, that's what Donald Trump meant. He meant the people that have put drugs on the streets of America, that has killed people. Those are the people that they should be seeking the death penalty towards, not your regular drug dealers. And we're not out here to say that drug dealing is good. Drug dealing is bad all across the board. Because we know when the arrest happened, we know how the numbers look as far as the arrest is concerned. But we need to get the right message across. Now, this guy want to talk about moral compass. Your moral compass is off, and I want to form a group with men that want to come together and talk. Nobody wants to talk to you. Save the invitation. Nobody wants to talk to you. Now, you want to speak on moral compass. This is good moral compass. Why don't you go find all the black men in New York that you tortured all those years, and you terrorized all those years, and you robbed all those years, and bring them on your channel, bring them on your social media platforms, and apologize to them in their face, and show us how much of a real man you are. Because when I look at you, you're not a real man. You're a guy just hiding behind a screen that had a little bit of street credibility because you was out there robbing people in a community where black kids looked up to you because you was some little street thug that knew how to rap. That doesn't fly over here, man. So again, we invite you to pull those people in New York all those years. Find two of them. Because just because we got this one robbery on the screen, right? Just because we got this one robbery on the screen don't mean that you robbed only one time. It just means that you got caught one time. So we know you've been robbing people. You didn't just wake up and just do this one cab, these double cab robberies, and that was the first time you robbed somebody. Well, you think that we're retarded? You think that we have no brains? Pull those people up on your channel, man, and apologize to their face. And maybe we'll start having some a little bit more respect for you. But in the meantime, stay off of that rhetoric. The rhetoric is bad. It's bad. It's bad energy. It's bad frequency. It's bad everything. Right? For those of you who is feeling what I'm saying, and if I left something out, listen, drop a comment in the section below if you have your own comments about this guy and the rhetoric he be spewing. And we'll try to double back on another video because we're going to be on top of his head until we can straighten him out. You know, we're going to straighten him out. He needs some straightening. Absolutely. Because he's all over the place. If, you know, 1 second he's race baiting, the next second he's acting like he's for the community. It's a contradictor. Right? He's a hypocrite. So again, people, definitely give this video a like, share the video, and like I said, subscribe to the channel, turn that notifications on so that you can stay in tune with next updates and future updates. And until then, we'll catch you on the next one. We out.